And a huge shout out to AC Infinity for sponsoring today's video. If you're looking for some high-tech quality equipment for your tent, check out acinfinity.com. Whether it's their clip-on fans, the Gen 2s, their air circulation systems, or their lights, check them out at acinfinity.com. Use promo code PIGEONS420. You're going to save a few dollars off at checkout. You're going to help support the show, and you're going to get yourself some quality equipment. Also, a huge shout out to Seedsman. If you're looking for some quality genetics from a quality place, check out Seedsman. Use promo code PIGEONS420. They're working with some of the best breeders in the game to hook you up with quality genetics. Check them out. Use promo code PIGEONS420 and thank them both for sponsoring today's video.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to have a conversation in regards to overdosing on weed, man. This is a conversation that I've had many times because for some reason, when I pull up the idea of overdosing on weed, people are like, you can't overdose on weed. Doesn't happen. And my response to you is, well, that's not true at all. That's not true at all. I actually believe the opposite. I believe you can overdose on weed. And it's simply the concept of overdosing that we're kind of misunderstanding. Because even at its most basic form, overdosing is simply taking a dose over the recommended amount. And I would incorporate having a negative effect attributed to that. Mrs. P, I'm gonna trouble you for another tea. Mrs. P for another tea, please. Oh, thank you. We'll trade keys. Huge shout out to AC Infinity for my sponsored koozie. I wanted to discuss the realities of overdosing on weed. And I see someone already was like, sleeping? Sean, yeah, you know what? Sleeping is part of it. But have you ever given somebody, or at least heard of somebody who has taken an edible and taken too much and found themselves praying to the porcelain gods, thinking their life is about to end? Now you guys can't see, but Mrs. P's in the back putting her hand real high because she may or may not have been one of those victims to an overdose. And that's the reality, is that, yeah, you can overdose. And particularly on edibles, yeah, that overdose is not gonna be pleasant. It's gonna be very kind of stressful. And that's one of the main elements to an overdose. You know, a lot of the people that I speak to tell me, excuse me, I don't smoke weed anymore. Actually, it was just in my chat the other day. I don't smoke weed anymore because I get very anxious when I smoke weed. And in a lot of cases, if it's not genetic related, or say a foreign variable related, like say a mold or a quick and improper dry and storage, the reality is that it could be too much. Are you smoking before work? You know, I do. I used to, before I'd go out to work, I used to smoke before work all the time. But you know, there were times where I might smoke before I go to work, and when I get to work, work might be asking something of the unordinary out of me. They might want me to go somewhere, do something with somebody I've never worked with before. And then all of a sudden, taking that monster fucking rip before I walked out the door, stumbling a little bit drunk. Now all of a sudden I'm sweating balls and I don't feel good anymore. Now I'm like, shit, I'm too high for this. That's an overdose. That could be an anxiety-driven, weed-induced overdose. And so a weed-driven overdose. So needless to say, I think it's very important to understand that. You know, I've had people that have smoked too much and gotten really incredibly dizzy or gotten very lightheaded. And it's like they have to like sit down or relax. I've even had friends pass out because they've either taken a rip too big, too heavy, too hot, so on and so forth. And not to mention, I had a buddy that said, yeah, I quit smoking weed because I would get sick. I would vomit. And so there's an honest conversation to be said or to be had about the negative effects of overdosing. I've shared this story before in regards to my friends that used to come over to my house. I would invite my friends over. They'd be coming over for a night to party or night have fun or relax. And we'd come down and we'd get into the session, into the bakery, and you know, I'm ripping out an old glory here, and I'm just, you know, hauling off like I've got rent to pay. bowl's capped off. It's like burgeoning, it's bursting over the seams of the bowl. And I smoked the whole thing. And I'm like, you guys want to rip? And they're like, yeah. And what do? I just packed the same size bowl that I just packed myself, and I hand it off. And they're sitting here thinking, oh shit, okay, he's watching me. They're watching me. It's not just me. It's like, I'm in a room with other people, and you go to take a hit. It's like, oh, how big should it be? Everybody's staring at you, and all of a sudden a bead of sweat's dripping down your nose. You're taking a rip, and you know what? They end up taking more than they need. Or fuck, they take a stale hoot. Don't even get me started about stale rips. That's a reality too. And then they're uncomfortable. They're either getting sick, or like you mentioned earlier, Sean, they get tired. They pass out. And I don't mean like after a couple hours they pass out. No, I mean like in 15, 20, 30, 45 minutes out. And it's just like, damn, I just killed my friends again. It's frustrating, but that is an overdose. That is consuming too much weed, man. I just like to say that. So yeah, I'm a strong believer that yes, you can overdose on weed. Does it mean you're gonna foam at the mouth and hinge on the verge of death? No, you might not, but that's not just an overdose. That is a side effect of a particular overdose of a particular drug, or an overdose of a particular drug. So understanding that there's a difference, and just understanding not only is there a difference, but ways to avoid it, so that when you're introducing somebody who has never had edibles before, who has never dabbed before, who has never used a bong before, keep that in mind. You don't want to overdose your friends, because they're not going to come back to that bong. They're not going to have another dab. They'll be like, yeah, I had a dab one time a couple years ago with my buddy. I was so fucking... Don't fuck them up that bad, man. Walk them into it. Introduce your friends. I believe that's kind of the etiquette that we should have, particularly as growers, where that we just have an abundance, and it's okay. Yeah, take a glob. Yeah, use a spoon. Yeah, a teaspoon. Yeah, a tablespoon. Yeah, just scoop it out. Yeah, just glob it on there. Try to take the whole thing. Yeah, upside down, bro. Yeah. Nah, man. You want them to come back. You want them to enjoy the experience. That's what it's all about. So I think keeping that in mind will not only save ourselves when we're out trying to consume, but it'll help us save others and ensure a quality experience when people are at our house, man. It's very important. That's why now when people come over, I've got little pieces everywhere. I got a little pipe up there. I've got this. I've got a ton of pieces outside there where it's like, let me get you something. You don't, no, this thing? No, this is intimidating. Please don't, are you sure? Are you sure? All right, fuck yeah, dude. Let me pack you a big one, man. You ready? Okay, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, actually, it's probably my sister-in-law, because she just rips a bigger bong, like as big a bong as I do, man. And I'll be like, yeah, you go, girl, hit that shit. Yeah, it doesn't matter, but just keep that in mind. Everybody deserves to enjoy a little bit of weed. All right. But that's my opinion, and what do you think? Some people believe that, no, that's not an overdose, Pigeons. That's not an overdose. If you're not hinging on the verge of death, that is not an overdose. And if that's your argument, I just agree to disagree. I don't believe so. So if that's the case, I would ask, what is your definition of what I am describing? If it's not an overdose, what is it then, with all due respect? That's what I want to know. And if it's a term that I can agree on, I'm willing to work with you there. But I believe it's overdosing on cannabis. Now, can you die? Well, that's another conversation. I don't believe so. Have people died from weed? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. We've talked about that was in that plant that was in a cannabis processing plant where she inhaled too much dust, and it either impacted or affected her asthma. I can't remember the story exactly, but in my opinion, that is a casualty of weed. That is a casualty of weed. If any way you want to shape it, it could be the company, but the process let that young lady down, and it wasn't the plant's fault, of course not, but that's normally how it goes. But it was the process in which we've come to kind of accept as legalization. And so, needless to say, that's my opinion. I'm very curious in terms of what you guys have. you can hit me up at Pigeons420 over on Twitter, or you can hit me up on Instagram. I don't answer really any messages on Instagram at all, but hit me up over on Twitter, Discord. I'm live almost every single night over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Pigeons420.
In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you fear.
Hi, I'm Pigeons420. Will you be an angel for an abused plant? Every day, innocent plants are abused, beaten, and neglected, and they're calling for your help. Please visit stashblend.com today and join the nation in helping abused plants get an 8-ounce bag of Stash Blend. That's just $27.70 or 96 cents per day. You'll be helping rescue plants from their abusers and provide nutrition, beneficial bacteria, mycorrhizae, and love. You'll help rescue plants from their abusers. Call or join now, and you'll receive a welcome kit of a photo of a dude impacted by your decision. Order now and change a life.